Chicago Cubs on WGN TV. Cubs baseball in beautiful high definition is sponsored by Comcast. Well, a rainout last night. Cubs were trailing 3-0. The stats don't count. Jeff Samardzija had a tough first inning, but then seemed to settle in. But the rains came about an hour into the ball game and really didn't stop all night. So it'll be a 161 game schedule for the Cubs. And the Diamondbacks just got swept in San Francisco. I think both teams at the beginning of the year thought this series was going to have a lot of meaning, but you never quite know in April what September and in this case early October will bring.
Well, and we know what happened with the Cubs this year. As far as the Diamondbacks are concerned, they lost their ace pitcher Brandon Webb after only one start this season, and certainly that took a big chunk out of their rotation. Changed managers early on this season, and very much a team in transition right now.
So Chicago area native Tom Gorzelani gets ready for his final start of the year, and he'll face this Diamondbacks starting lineup. Ryan Roberts will lead it off at second. Stephen Drew at short. Justin Upton is out in right. He has crushed lefties this year. Mark Reynolds leading the majors in strikeouts and errors for the second straight year. Young is in center. Rusty Ryle at first. Eric Burns has had a tough year. He's in left. John Hester catches and Billy Buckner pitches.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively today. Behind Tom Gorzelani, brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, refresh everything. Scales fold and Fukudome across the outfield. Ramos Ramirez and Andres Blanco on the left side. Jeff Baker and Jake Fox on the right side of the infield. Coy Hill behind the dish today for left-hander Tom Gorzelani. Mentioned Tom's last time out against the Giants. 5-inning outing, scattered 5 hits, gave up only the 1 run. He did walk a couple of batters in that ball game, but has really been a strike-throwing machine since coming over to the Cubs.
Get the umpires for you. Paul Nart will call the balls and strikes. The crew chief is at first, Ed Rapuano. Dan Bellino worked the plate during the day-night doubleheader the other day, is at second today. And Paul Schreiber is at third. Well, no choice but to wait till next year. We'll get the state of the Cubs tomorrow from the manager, Lou Piniella, during our final WGN broadcast of the season. Ryan Roberts will start it. Be followed by Drew and Upton here in the first inning. The Diamondbacks beat the Cubs 2 of 3. That was in late April. Seems like a long time ago. Now we're ready, and the 27-year-old lefty deals strike 1 on a fastball at 91. Big swing and a miss.
That's something you'll say a lot today for this Diamondbacks offense. A very undisciplined swing for the fences kind of a team.
Outside. Diamondbacks have lost more games against left-handed starters than any team in the National League. They're 16-30 versus lefties. A.J. Hinch had no previous managerial or coaching experience when he was hired to replace Bob Melvin on May 8th. The Diamondbacks got off to a 12-17 start. They have gone just 56-74 under Hinch, who was running their farm system. So he knows a lot of these young players pretty well. Former Major League catcher.
A.J. Hinch was general manager Josh Burns' hand-picked selection to take over this team after the firing of Bob Melvin, and you have to believe it ruffled a few feathers within the organization. A guy like Chip Hale, as Roberts lofts one high to center with the wind blowing out, this could be trouble.
Well, Folt's going to have to go get it, and Roberts is going to try for 3. In head first with a leadoff triple. I was going to say, it's 49 degrees. How often does the wind blow out of the southwest at 10 miles an hour on a day like this?
Boy, it has been howling out all morning. The Cubs took batting practice in the cage underneath the right field stands. The Diamondbacks hit on the field, and I got to tell you, everybody that stepped into that batter's box was peppering Waveland and Sheffield Avenues from our southwest sky cam. Just a high fly ball to straightaway center. Got up in the jet stream and shot over the head of Sam Folt.
So Stephen Drew will bat with a corner man in. They're back up the middle, and he takes it up and in. I think that the number one reason A.J. Hinch was hired, or at least one of the big reasons, was, I guess the term would be organizational continuity. That's fouled off. In terms of being on the same page with the general manager, Josh Burns, they clearly worked very closely together when Hinch was running the farm system. But as you say, with no previous experience, I'm sure there are a few people wondering how that happened.
Well, and I started to say it might have ruffled some feathers within the organization. I mean, look no further than third base coach Chip Hale. You want to talk about a guy that's familiar with this young Diamondbacks team. He managed a lot of these guys in Double-A El Paso and Triple-A Tucson. Won some Manager of the Year awards in the minor leagues and wasn't even given any consideration for the job when Melvin was fired. I mean, if familiarity with your young players is something you're looking for, you know, certainly your scouting director is one guy you would look to, but a guy that has managed at a couple of different levels in the minor leagues and has had a lot of these guys on a daily basis in the minor leagues would seem to be qualified as well.
Hinch, by the way, got a 4-year contract when he took over. Speaking of triples, after the Roberts triple, his 4th of the year, Stephen Drew has 12, just one off the pace in the National League. But that's going to be a single to give the Diamondbacks the early lead. The Cubs have been giving up a lot of first inning runs on this homestand.
And certainly you have to give credit where credit is due. The opposing teams, in this case the Diamondbacks, in the previous 4 games, the Pirates have come about firing early in the ball game. Swinging those bats, taking advantage of some early base runners. And it has to be said, the Cubs just don't look like they're always ready to start the ball game. It's obviously been a very disappointing season. A lot of guys are packing up their lockers on a daily basis, getting ready to leave as soon as the season is over. And I don't know that mentally they're into the game when it begins.
There's Justin Upton. Putting together an excellent season, hitting .304 with 26 home runs, 86 knocked in. And likes facing lefties. The kick and the pitch off the inside corner. He has slugged .773 against lefties, leading the majors. .378 batting average. He's only 22. Just recently turned 22. That ball ends up behind the tarp. It'll be an error.
Yeah, talking about Upton, you mentioned he's 22 this year. He was 20 when a lot of people felt he was rushed to the major league level, but you see that ball gets away from Jake Fox, thrown on the home plate side of first base and low. Couldn't make that adjustment quickly enough, and Drew will advance on to second base. I think a lot of people felt Upton maybe was rushed to the major leagues, but I tell you, when you watch this guy play a lot of ball games, he is an exceptional athlete. Runs well, throws well, hits for power, and a very, very quick learner by all accounts. So for a lot of guys, you might hesitate to bring him up that early in their career, but the Diamondbacks felt that Upton was a guy that could handle it.
It is now raining, not very hard. One ball, no strikes to Upton. The pitch. 2-0.
Another thing you have to like about Justin Upton, I watched the Diamondbacks game earlier this season against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he was the runner at first base with 2 outs and a full count on the hitter at the plate. The hitter fouled off 6 consecutive pitches, and Upton ran every one of them as if it was the last time he was going to run the bases.
Ball still carrying, caught by Fukudome for the first out, and that'll send Drew to third.
It's going to be one of those days with the flags just whipping straight out to center field. Good day for the hitters today. The pitchers are going to have to keep the ball down. Fukudome had to change directions a couple of different times before finally corralling that ball just in front of the vines.
Well, I'm intrigued by things that are counterintuitive, and I would say today is one of those days weather-wise. Infielders in. Reynolds takes a strike. This is the first game I've ever done here when it's in the 40s and the wind's blowing straight out. This has the earmarkings of a day when it's 85 plus.
Yep.
Swing and a miss. You'll see that a lot from Reynolds, but when he makes contact, he can hit it a long way. 44 home runs. But he has broken his own single season strikeout record as 215. He pops it up. Scales and Fuld. It's going to be Sam Fuld getting behind the ball, but it's just too deep out there, and that'll be a sac fly for Reynolds. His 102nd RBI. Drew is in, and it's 2-0.
You mentioned the numbers for Reynolds. He has improved his batting average this year. He was up in the 260s going into play today, basically because he's drawn more walks this season. 75 base on balls on the season to go along with his 215 strikeouts. You know, with the exception of the low batting average, I guess you could draw some comparisons between Reynolds and David Wright of the New York Mets. Both guys can hit for power. Wright hits for a higher average, but both guys capable of stealing a base as well. Mark Reynolds with 24 stolen bases leads this Diamondbacks team.
Well, I wouldn't take Mark Reynolds over Aramis Ramirez, but regardless of his defensive position, I'd take him in my lineup with 44 home runs. You get a lot of strikeouts, but he's more than made up for it. The key is what you said, the walks. He's taken a career high in walks. 2-1 on Chris Young, who spent some time back in the minor leagues in August. He was hitting 194 when he was sent down. Low and inside on Young. He has 6 home runs since September 4th. Puts him in the top 10 in the majors, actually 9th in the majors during that stretch over the last month or so. And this one's going to easily go. And hello, Waveland. 3-0. His 14th of the year.
I mentioned it at the top of the show. For the most part, this Diamondbacks lineup is an all or nothing style. They swing for the fences. Even with 2 strikes, they're trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Chris Young got a middle of the plate fastball right there. Very little doubt about it. A line drive out onto Waveland Avenue.
His 16th game against the Cubs, and he's hit 5 home runs. Came up big against the Cubs in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Big 3-run homer on Ted Lilly. Fouled back by Rusty Ryle. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pop foul. Well, the Pirates got 3 last night in the first inning, but just erase that from your mind. It didn't happen.
What didn't happen? I've already forgotten it.
We got some umpires here behind home plate. Called strike 3. They must be here with the Mike Fontenot clone. 3 for the Diamondbacks, and the Cubs are coming up. Lottery. Unfortunately, Chicago will not get the 2016 Olympics, but synchronized umpiring might be involved in Rio. Mega Millions can find you every Tuesday and Friday. Mega Millions, have fun responsibly.
Oh, it's bad enough you have to have 4 umpires at the ballpark every day, let alone 6.
Now, Lou's Pepsi lineup brought to you by Pepsi. Refresh everything. You see Kosuke with an 8-game hitting streak as Sam Full digs in against right-hander Billy Buckner. Outside, ball 1. William Jennings Buckner. Former Royal, current Diamondback. Some ugly numbers, but he's been better lately. Had a really rough stretch, but seems to have stabilized.
Giving up a home run approximately every 6 innings this year. With the wind blowing out the way it is today, we may see that number go up a little bit. Sinker, slider, changeup pitcher, occasional curveball. There's a curveball right there, lost the grip on it.
Two to Sam Fuld, 3-0 Arizona. We haven't seen the Diamondbacks in quite some time. Used to a battery of, Webb and Snyder. Instead, it's Buckner and Hester today. Bouncer to Ryle. He'll get it to the pitcher. Goes 3-1.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Diamondbacks defensively today. Behind Buckner, Burns, Young, and Upton left to right in the outfield. Reynolds, Drew, Roberts, and Ryle across the infield. Hester will be doing the catching today. And we've talked about right-hander Billy Buckner. Very athletic young Diamondbacks ball club. Still a little rough around the edges in some positions, but a lot of speed out there.
Fukudome coming in with an 8-game hitting streak. One strike on the Cubs right fielder. Ramirez on deck, way inside. Should also mention when Bob Melvin was fired in May, Hitting coach Rick Shue was also let go and replaced by Jack Howell. And pitching coach Brian Price resigned. He was replaced by Mel Stottlemyre Jr. So a little bit of a shakeup on the coaching staff. Swing and a miss. And obviously there was something about the way A.J. Hinch handled himself in his previous job that Josh Burns liked and thought he would make a good manager. Gave him a lot of security, which I think was a statement. This is my guy. He's going to be here for a while. And we've talked about the young talent on this team. And ultimately, as you know, Bob, the talent will ultimately decide how good this team will be in the long run.
And it should be pointed out that a lot of this talent on this Diamondbacks club was drafted by Mike Rizzo, who's now the general manager of the Washington Nationals. We spoke about him a week or so ago, and that's the reason why I think the Nationals are not far away from developing into a competitive, consistent ball club.
3-2 to Fukudome, just missed, ball 4. It's up Aramis Ramirez, battling the sore left shoulder. Got back in the lineup last night and had an unofficial 6-3 ground out. But again, that didn't happen. I'd like to be Lasting's Millage. He had a 2-run homer that wasn't. Did you ever hit a home run that didn't count?
407 of them.
He had a lot of rainouts.
Oh, unfortunately, I can't recall losing any home runs to rain delays, rain outs. We didn't get rained out in Candlestick. If it rained, that would be a nice day.
Buckner making his Wrigley Field debut. Second career appearance, first start against the Cubs. Up in the air, in the infield, and it'll be Drew to make the catch. Well, I thought Roberts was going to take that one, but got to keep moving your feet and keep your eye on every pop-up today. Then you got to run them all out.
Yeah, that's good advice here at Wrigley Field, regardless of the wind conditions, but especially today. This is, you said this is a little out of character for the ballpark to be playing the way it is today. It looked like Drew didn't see it initially off the bat, but was able to recover and move a few steps to his left to make that one-handed catch.
Fox pops it up. And it'll get back to the seats down the left field line. Pretty big difference today versus a Pirates series. The Pirates play their outfielders as shallow as any outfield in baseball. But with the wind blowing out today, the Diamondbacks and Cubs are going to play everybody pinned up against the wall. Just a breaking ball, 0-2 to Fox. Baker on deck. Fukudome at first, 2 outs. We're in the opening inning. I was going to say a Raleigh Fingers lookalike, but I think that's in honor of left-hander Clay Zabata, part of their bullpen. Swing and a miss. Fox strikes out, and the inning is over. It's 3-0 Arizona after 1. And now to look at our high-def shot of the game, sponsored by Comcast. Special thanks to all the Chicago Cubs interns here for 2009, introduced on the field before the game. Cubs baseball in high definition, sponsored by Comcast. Take a bow.
Yeah, nobody works harder than those interns have this summer.
What a great experience here at Wrigley Field with the Cubs. A strike to veteran Eric Burns. 0 for 4 lifetime against Gorzelani. It's surgery this season to repair a broken left hand. He was hit by a Scott Feldman pitch. Comes in at just .213 on the year. Missed 64 games with that injury. Picked up by Blanco. The spin, the throw, and the out.
Burns making a bid for a base hit back up the middle of the field. Andres Blanco showing some good range from our southwest sky cam. Spins around with his back to first base and throws a strike on to Jake Fox for the out.
It's John Hester, the catcher from Atlanta, and went to Stanford. I wonder if he played with Sam Fuld. Seems a little older than Hester.
I'm sure Hester heard the legend of Sam Fuld when he came through Stanford.
One and two. The pitcher's on deck. First Cubs game. Got him. Step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Buckner steps in. He's 5 for 18 with a couple of doubles and 6 RBIs.
Ooh.
Swing like a pitcher.
Fits right in with this all or nothing offense. A big hack at that first pitch fastball from Tom Gorzelani.
Don't know if he'll win a batting title like the other Bill Buckner, but swing and a miss. 0-2. Another strikeout. Call made by the guys in the front row. Strikeout number 3 for Gorzelani. TheCubs.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop TheCubs.com shop. Sweatshirt weather here at the ballpark. We started at 49 degrees. I think it's warmed up a little bit. I'm going to say 49.7.
Our comfort in the broadcast position up here high above Wrigley Field really depends on that wind. And when the wind blows out, it's very comfortable up here. Last night the temperature was higher, but the wind was blowing in and it was a little brisk up here.
Cubs got to get the offense going. 2 runs as they were swept in the day-night doubleheader on Wednesday. They did not score over the 3 innings last night. And they're down early again today. Baker hits it well, but it carries all the way to Chris Young. It's the kind of day where if you square one up, if you don't hit it out, it's probably going to be caught.
Yeah, with the outfield playing as deep as the Diamondbacks are positioned, yeah, they're coming in on just about everything. And if it's hit over their head, it's probably going to reach the bleachers.
Switch hitting Bobby Scales. Manning left. And batting 6th. The pitching matchups for the rest of the season. Right-handers tomorrow, Daniel Cabrera and Randy Wells. Final WGN broadcast. Straight up noon Central. And then veterans Doug Davis, a lefty, and right-hander Ryan Dempster on Sunday. Bobby pops it up. Drew out, but it'll be Burns. Make the catch.
Well, you mentioned Doug Davis pitching the series finale, season finale here on Sunday. And with that in mind, I'm going to remind fans once again that tomorrow, October 3rd, at John Barleycorn's, approximately a half hour to 45 minutes after the game, there's an event sponsored by the Doug Davis Foundation to raise money to build ball fields for specially challenged youth back in Arizona. Several of the Cubs players are going to be there, including Randy Wells, Coy Hill, Sean Marshall, Mike Fontenot. Number of the Diamondbacks players are going to be there. Appetizers and drinks and autographs. There's a raffle and an auction, and all the money goes to a great cause. So if you got some time tomorrow afternoon, head on over to John Barleycorn's after the ball game.
Coy Hill, a former Diamondback, parts of 2 seasons, 04 and 05. This is his first year during which he has spent the entire year in the majors. I don't know, he doesn't take that for granted. Out toward the gap, it'll get down. Upton cuts it off. It's a single for Hill, the first hit for the Cubs. Well, we talk obviously about major league players and a lot of guys who have been here to stay for quite a while. We occasionally talk about minor league players who do great things in the Cubs system, but more professional players than not never sniff the majors. You think about all the levels in the minor leagues and guys who never make it here. And you think about Coy Hill, who's been trying to be at this level for a full season for a while, and this is the first time he's done it. It is a nice accomplishment. Should not be diminished.
Oh, I agree with you 100%, Len. And you know, a lot of players get to the major leagues with big time fanfare, and once they get here, they stay here. They never get on that AAA big league shuttle that Coy Hill's been riding for the last number of years. So for him to stick in the big leagues for an entire season is, I'm sure, something he's very proud of.
I think Andres Blanco would be another guy who would like to spend 2010 at the big league level exclusively. As I look at his transactions, he scatters the Diamondbacks bullpen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 or 9 major league call-ups for Blanco.
And when you have that many major league call-ups, that means you've had one less send back to the minor leagues. It's a lot more fun getting called up than it is getting sent back.
I think Andres has an issue with somebody down in that bullpen. He missed him that time. Nice catch by that fan. Hand hurts, but he got a souvenir.
You know, when I was managing the Arizona Diamondbacks, of course, one of our star players, one of our best hitters, Luis Gonzalez, a former Cub. He happens to be in the booth next door filling in for Mark Grace on the Diamondbacks TV broadcast. But whenever he would hit a ball like that, either into the opposing team while they were stretching in right field or into the visiting bullpen, he would always say, hit a lefty. Of course, Gonzo was a left-handed hitter, and anytime he could pick off a left-handed pitcher in the bullpen, he was all for it.
Gonzo, a former Cub as well. Now a special assistant to the Diamondbacks president. And as you mentioned, filling in on their TV today. There's Gonzo. Working hard.
One of the best loved guys to ever put on a uniform in the major leagues, wherever he played.
Knocked down by Robertson. He's going to have time. Gets it to Ryle. That's the inning. 2 out hit, no runs. 3-0 Arizona after 2. After flying in from San Francisco, where they were swept, Cubs were here till about 10:30 last night before the game against the Pirates was rained out. That young Cub fan trying to figure out how to put that glove on.
I think he dropped a gumball in one of the fingers. He's trying to figure out how to get it out of there.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on. Top of the order, Roberts tripled to start the game, straightaway center over Sam Fuld. This one's going to be hauled in by Fukudome. Cub fans, Len and Bob's baseball blog has joined Chicago Now. From now on, you can find the same great content from Len and Bob's blog at chicagonow.com/Len and Bob, as well as WGNTV.com. That guy's calling everyone he knows to tell him to get on the blog. I have a post today with some insight into your scheduled yet ultimately canceled 7th inning stretch appearance. We have game notes from our friends at Stats and much, much more. I gave away just a couple of little secrets in terms of what you had planned last night, but I didn't want to give away all of it because I know that when you do it again next year, you might break out a couple of surprises. I did drop the hint about the cowbell. I thought that was a nice touch. I don't know if the cowbell has ever been used. So check out the blog for more info.
Anything to distract from the singing.
A base hit for Drew. He is 2 for 2.
A big day today, Len, for one of our good buddies, Dominic Pugliani, getting married. I'm sure he's not watching right now. He's probably getting his bow tie tied just right. But we want to wish Dominic and Janae the best wishes on their big day today. Dominic, a huge Cubs fan.
Absolutely. We send out our congrats, and hopefully the weather has held up so the ceremony can be outdoors. And they'll be out at the ballpark tomorrow, celebrating here at Wrigley.
Well, Dominic's a big fan of the telecast, so I know he's heard this before and has committed it to memory, but I'm going to remind him anyway, just for safety's sake. Practice this phrase and use it as necessary, Dom. Yes, dear, you're right. I'm sorry.
A Baltimore chop, and it's going to be a hit. Can't do it any better than that. Justin Upton pounded one off the plate, and it took forever to land in the glove of Aramis Ramirez. If you could do that every at bat, you'd bat 1,000. This was not Dominic and Janae, but a couple either recently married, maybe getting married today. Not quite sure, but they were here around 9:30 this morning taking photos on Wrigley Field. So congratulations. Two on, one out. Fouled back. 1-1.
And you were talking about strange things today, the cooler temperatures, but the wind blowing straight out, which is highly unusual here at Wrigley Field. You want to talk about weddings and honeymoons. Our buddy that does the TV games for the San Francisco Giants, Dwayne Kuiper. How about this? Reynolds skies one in the middle of the infield. Jeff Baker chasing it out into shallow center. He'll make the play. Dwayne Kuiper and his lovely wife Michelle were married in Hawaii and honeymooned in Cleveland. What's wrong with that picture?
It should be the opposite.
Well,
that'd have been when Dwayne was in Cleveland Indian.
yes.
Here's Chris Young, who sent one on to Waveland back in the first inning. Called strike. Drew at second, Upton at first. By the way, Baker didn't have to make that catch. The infield fly rule was in effect, so even if he had dropped it, the batter was already out. Guys still try to catch it.
Although I think there are times, depending on who the base runners are, that it might be advisable to let it drop. Sometimes you can catch those runners being unclear about the rule and think they have to advance to the next base once that ball drops.
Well, we've discussed this many times. I think there are a lot of players who even maybe do know the rule. In the heat of the moment might panic when the ball drops, thinking I need to advance another base. I think the main reason an infielder catches that ball is if it lands, you don't want it to take a funny hop or bounce away, and then the runners can advance at their own risk.
And it gets back to the old cliche we use all the time. If the other team's going to give you an out, take the out. Don't try to get too tricky. That's when bad things start to happen.
Although, to be honest, when Baker started backpedaling and he knew that the arm had gone up and the out was recorded, he could have just let it drop, said, you know what, I'm not going to give myself a headache trying to catch this. But that's not what major leaguers do. Crowd would have moaned. Everyone would have thought, well, what is he doing? Could have said, calm down, I knew he was out. The 3-1 to Young, that missed, and they are loaded for Rusty Ryle.
Just the first walk in the ball game for Tom Gorzolany, but his command just not as fine as we saw him his last start against the Giants out at AT&T Park.
And with that, rookie righty Justin Bird is up in the pen. He was hit hard by a comebacker Wednesday night in the right leg, but caught muscle, not bone. Fortunately, he's fine, even though he was taken out of the game. Larry Rothschild back into the Cubs dugout. Left center, full going after it, won't get to it, rolls all the way to the wall, and the Diamondbacks are going to get 3 on a bases clearing double for Rusty Ryle, and that doubles their lead to 6-0.
Oh, just hit right off of the end of the bat. Unfortunately for the Cubs, hit in a perfect spot. Kind of hydroplane past Sam Fuld all the way to the wall. And we talked about Justin Upton and his athletic ability, and he scores from first base, or rather, Chris Young scores from first base easily. He runs well too. Cross up.
Yep, and that'll be a passed ball. Charge to Coy Hill.
That's one of those ones you'd like to think the official scorekeeper would check with the pitcher and catcher after the ball game and see if indeed that was a cross up. You could just tell by the way Coy reacted to that pitch. He was expecting it to do something else. Turned his glove fingers down, anticipating a breaking ball in the dirt, and Tom Gorzolany threw him a fastball that caught him right in the chest protector.
Only thing is, if you do check with a pitcher and catcher, are you saying find out who screwed up?
Yeah.
Give the wild pitch to the pitcher if it was his fault?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have an awful lot of pass balls if the pitcher just threw whatever he wanted, regardless of what sign the catcher hung down.
You're right. Line shot off the glove, I believe, of Baker and into right center. Jeff just couldn't get it. Burns has hit the ball hard twice, and it's now 7-0.
That ball was hit so hard, Jeff Baker didn't even really have a good opportunity to get his legs underneath him and make a jump at that ball. Just a half a step to his left, and that ball shot by him before he could get to the top of his jump. Just does tick off the webbing of the glove.
Hester bounces. Boy, Diamondbacks swinging early, and it worked out for him for the most part. 4 runs in the 3rd inning, and they lead 7-0. of the passed ball, and Tom Gorzolani's day is over before he even gets a plate appearance. Aaron Miles is going to hit for him. Ryle cleared him with a double and then scored on the Burns single. Tough finish to the year for Tom Gorzolani. Miles hits it foul. Today, three innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned for the lefty. Fold and then Fukudome. So everyone will swing left-handed in this inning against Buckner. That's out of the left center for a pinch hit single for Aaron Miles. We got a nice letter from a big Cubs fan, Jill Gentry from Decatur, Illinois. She wanted to know how many players have played for the same team for 10 years or more, and who has the longest tenure with the same team. So Doug Stanton, our associate producer, did a little research, and currently there are 16 players in the majors who have 10 years plus of service with one team. No Cubs are on that list. Any guesses in terms of who has the most tenure with one team currently?
Most tenure with one
16 years.
Then I should know this.
It's a double play ball. 6-4. Nope. Bad throw by Roberts as Miles was bearing down on him. So it's only a fielder's choice. Chipper Jones with the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, sure.
Bunch of guys tied for second. Tim Wakefield, Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter. The interesting connection, and I think it does make sense. For the most part of the 16 players, I'd say 13 or 14 of them all come from high payroll teams. And I think what that tells you is those are the only teams that are really able to keep guys that long the way the current structure is laid out. I mean, there are no players on the Tampa Bay Rays who've been there since the beginning, or the Florida Marlins, or the Minnesota Twins. Mostly Yankees, Red Sox. There are a couple of Toronto Blue Jays and one Oakland Athletic, Eric Chavez, or Chavez, I should say. That's caught by Burns, 2 outs. So just kind of interesting. Konerko and Burley, 11 years each with the White Sox. And that's one small problem I have with the current structure of baseball. I think a lot of people miss the idea of Alan Trammell, 20 years in Detroit. Ernie Banks, his entire career, was it 19 years here? Tony Gwynn. Robin Yount in Milwaukee. So rare. And Chipper Jones and guys like that, that's almost unheard of. We are email accessible. Len and Bob at chicagonow.com. You can tweet us. Twitter.com/Len and Bob. As long as free agency is here, partner, I think that's just the way it's going to be.
And I think a lot of fans would like to point the finger at the players and say, well, they're greedy. They just chase the money. Whoever's going to pay them, that's where they go. And yeah, to a certain extent, that's true. But loyalty is a two-way street. And a lot of times, as you said, an organization is just not in a financial position to make the kind of commitment to keep a premier player in a city for a long period of time.
Big swing by Aramis. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carlos Zambrano has the longest Cubs tenure. A good chance he'll be a 10-year guy. Actually, next year will be his 10th year with the Cubs. Kerry Wood had, I think, 12 when he left. First 11 years of his career. Well, I don't know if that counts the year he was on the DL. 3-2 with full running, swing and a miss, and the inning is over. Second strikeout for Buckner, who has a commanding 7-0 lead. Seven to nothing, 3 in the first, 4 in the third as they chase Tom Gorzelani out early. So right-hander Justin Berg will take over. Put up really good numbers as he gets his first major league experience here in 2009. Bounced past him by the pitcher Buckner, but not by Baker. It'll go 4-3.
Hey, Cub fans, don't forget to visit the WGN Sports Game Zone at WGNTV.com. Brought to you by The Great Escape for up-to-the-minute stats and information designed to give you everything you need to know during the game. The WGN Sports Game Zone is available for every Cubs game and is brought to you by The Great Escape. Pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
A strike to Roberts. Berg charged with his first run in his last outing. The run scored after he was taken out after getting hit by that hard comebacker off the bat of Garrett Jones. Slow roller to Baker. This will go 4-3. Stephen Drews had a big day already. 2 hits, an RBI, and 2 runs. Well, you weren't kidding. You talk about an aggressive lineup. They get after it. Swing the bats.
When you're getting hits and driving in runs and guys are running around the bases, it seems like a pretty good approach, but that hasn't always been the case for the Diamondbacks this summer. A lot of very short pitch innings for the opposing pitcher, and that's led to a considerable amount of frustration among Diamondbacks fans. Stephen Drew, a guy who has found his name in the rumor mill as possibly moving on after the end of this season. That doesn't really seem to make much sense. Solid defensive shortstop, made only 11 errors this season. Good offensive player, and still has a year to go before he gets to arbitration, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
Lines out to Scalesburg with a quick 1-2-3-4, 7-0 Diamondbacks. The friendly confines, the lights are on, overcast skies all day. We had some sun early, but like 8:30 this morning before the clouds and little drizzle rolled in. Jake Fox already getting a steady diet of breaking stuff from Billy Buckner. That was a fastball low, 1-1. Happy birthday wishes go out to longtime Cubs season ticket holder Carol Haddon. This is a very belated birthday wishes to Colette Parnell. We got a letter that was dated July 31st. But I just got it. She's from Porterville, California, the hometown of former Cub Brant Brown.
Oh, no!
Your best Ronnie impersonation. Leadoff walk to Fox.
I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Pat said he dropped the ball. No! Nice new leather jacket for Ron Santo, it appears. Brant Brown currently a hitting coach in the Texas Rangers organization. Well, they did have to go to the extra game against the Giants, but they did make it that year. (2-0) to Baker, and I think John Hester's saying, "Got to throw strikes, Billy." Up 7. chance. In the end, you know, Grant Brown helped the Cubs make a little extra money that year because they got the extra game at Wrigley Field. I don't believe that was his intent.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, good sense of humor about it. Fly ball deep to right. Upton now under it, and he has it. One away.
The 2009 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN is brought to you by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
Final weekend of the regular season. Only playoff spot to be determined in terms of who gets in and who doesn't is over in the AL Central. That's a Twins and the Tigers. Detroit with a 2-game lead going into the weekend. Now they host the White Sox, while the Twins will be wrapping up their history at the Metrodome, at least in the regular season, as they host Kansas City. They're going to face Zach Greinke this weekend. Base hit for Scales, and Fox will pull up at second. The Dodgers and Rockies are in, and the Dodgers need one win this weekend to clinch the West. And while I generally agree with your pregame assessment that that's not how you want to go into the playoffs, they've lost 4 in a row. There are examples of teams struggling to finish the regular season and then doing well. The 06 season is what I think of. Detroit and St. Louis were really bad at the end of the year and found a way to get it together just in time. But I think generally you're right. You want to be starting to peak right now if you're going into the playoffs.
You know, the Rockies and the Dodgers scheduled pitchers in that game today. Ubaldo Jimenez with 14 wins against Randy Wolf with 11 victories. 2 aces of the staffs going at it in the first game of that series.
And every team would rather win a division, finish in first, than win the wild card. But recent history has also shown that wild card teams can in fact win the World Series. It's happened a lot. Kick, the 0-2. Hill strikes out.
Just get there.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen when you get to the postseason. The most unlikely stars may emerge. Guys that you weren't even counting on being major contributors might end up being the Bucky Dent of this year's playoffs. You just never know.
Jake Peavy and Edwin Jackson tonight in Detroit. Lenny DiNardo and Jeff Manship in Minnesota. Neither guy in that matchup has a win this year. In a huge game, at least for one team. Almost hit Andres. 2 balls, no strikes. I've read some things about, you know, why are the White Sox even throwing Jake Peavy out on the mound when they're playing for nothing. I give Ozzie a lot of credit. I mean, they want to beat Detroit. I wouldn't want to face Jake Peavy tonight.
I'm not crazy about facing Jake Peavy any night.
Right. Now, from an organizational standpoint, obviously don't want Peavy to get hurt, but he's missed much of this season, so I think he wants as many innings as he can get to finish this year. The only way you wouldn't start him is if you had another guy who you didn't have a slot for this weekend and you really wanted to see, maybe a young prospect. Disappointing that Jeff Samardzija couldn't complete his start last night.
Had a chance to talk to Jeff down in the clubhouse today, and he was very encouraged. Even though the game got rained out last night, he's very encouraged by his new mechanics out there on the mound. He's Going to go down and pitch in Mexico for 5 starts under the watchful eye of Cubs AAA manager Bobby Dickerson. Dave Rosario, one of the Cubs minor league pitching coaches. He wants to continue to iron out those mechanics.
Diving stop by Ryland from his knees. He fires a bullet to Buckner, and that ends the inning. Diamondbacks have committed a ton of errors this year, but some excellent defense on that play. Inside to Justin Upton as we start the 5th. 7-0 Arizona. The Cubs have had all kinds of trouble with the Diamondbacks really since their inception in '98. Cubs are 15 under 500 and there's 20-21 here at Wrigley. Upton thrown out by Blanco. Now time for the 5th inning, brought to you by Subway. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Getting stretched out in the bullpen. Not sure why. Buckner's been really good. Reynolds bounces to Blanco. Justin Bird 5 up 5 down quickly as he came in.
Some good sinkers down low in the zone, and with this aggressive swinging Diamondbacks offense getting that desired ground ball. Last 2 right at Blanco at shortstop.
Young with a homer and a walk and 2 runs. Houston, Texas. They got him from the White Sox prior to '06. Line shot to center, and Fuld just basically had to chest block it after it hit the turf.
Line drive. Rarely do you see an outfielder get locked up by a hard hit ball, but Sam Fuld had to hold his ground there and just try to knock that one down. The ball scalded into center field.
Ryle with a liner, but Baker will get this one, and that'll end the inning. 2 scoreless innings for Justin Berg. Still 7-0 AZ. Continues. The Gaslight Anthem will be playing the House of Blues October 27th. Brought to you by Bud Light. Tickets are available exclusively at Ticketmaster.com. The Gaslight Anthem October 27th. Brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. Mike Fontenot hits for Justin Berg. I really like what we saw from Justin Berg today. Early contact and a lot of outs.
Got a lot of late movement on that hard sinker when he keeps it down in the zone. Mixes in an occasional slider. As long as he's throwing that ball over the plate with movement, he's going to get a lot of easy ground ball outs.
Bounce to Ryle. Flip and the out.
The Cubs' first official Wrigley Field tour book is now on sale. The 96-page book offers a rich illustration of the history, evolution, and essence of Wrigley Field. Complete with more than 150 photos and a souvenir postcard pack, the tour book makes a perfect collector's keepsake of the friendly confines. Tour books can be purchased for $15 by calling 1-800-248-9467. I know you've seen the book, Len.
It's great. Some unbelievable photos. Another one hit to Ryle. He knocks it down, has time. He's been playing goalie over there the last 2 innings. I like cheese.
Cheese with a Z. He's got a pizza ready when he finishes his nachos. It's a balanced diet.
Yeah.
You got to get the pizza so you have like a mini TV tray to set your nachos on.
Right. 2 different kinds of cheese. That's always a good thing. Probably shouldn't wear your best pair of jeans, however, if you're going to have that particular meal. Should we seal it? I always like the breadstick pizza combination. Get the breadsticks with the cheese on it, dip it in sauce, and then you eat pizza. Really not different enough for me, although I've done it before. Third walk issued by Buckner.
Anything with pizza in the description, I'm a big fan of.
Here's some bread while you order bread. And of course, you have to have bread pudding for dessert.
Well, they make dessert pizzas now, too. Various fruit toppings and cinnamon and icing.
Some cotton candy, always a good thing. Fouled straight back. Time to see who's moving forward with Toyota. Ramos Ramirez since the 22nd of July. 46 knocked in. An RBI machine. That's today's Toyota moving forward, thanks to Toyota. You could have some Cubs Pez if you would like. I don't think I've ever had Pez.
Oh, come on.
I don't. I mean, I've seen the dispensers all over the place. Maybe get some Pez. 7-0 Arizona after 5.
Another reminder of the DougDavisFoundation.org event tomorrow at John Barleycorn's immediately after the ball game. You see the number there for details, 847-924-6140, or go to DougDavisFoundation.org. Be a great opportunity to get your picture taken, maybe get a few autographs. Some of the Cubs players, Diamondbacks players will be over there after the ball game. And the money all goes to build ball fields for especially challenged youth that back in Arizona. Great cause. Should be a great evening.
Jeff Stevens, the third Cubs pitcher, Tough day for Gorzolani. 6 earned runs, 7 in all in just 3 innings. Berg was excellent. 2 innings, 1 hit. No runs. Burns pops it foul out of play. Justin Berg threw just 14 pitches to get through his 2 scoreless innings. After Burns, it's Hester and Buckner for the visitors. Low and outside on a breaking ball. That's a power curve from Jeff Stevens. 1-2. He'll grow into that shirt. Deep to left for Eric Burns, and another one onto Waveland. Two tape measure blasts by the Diamondbacks today.
It took a couple of relay throws to get that one back onto the playing surface here at Wrigley Field. That ball was absolutely crushed. Stevens with a high fastball, not high enough. Eric Burns tomahawks that ball way out onto Waveland Avenue.
One to Hester. Stevens from the stretch with nobody on base. In the dirt, will get a new ball. Our extra umpires right behind home plate have been fairly quiet here lately. Into it in the first inning. Right on cue. Ball 4. The 25th annual Cubs convention will take place at the Hilton Chicago on January 15th, 16th, and 17th, 2010. Rooms are available now by calling the Hilton Chicago at 312-922-4400 and asking for the Cubs convention rate. Weekend passes go on sale Wednesday, November 4th, and for more information, visit Cubs.com. The 4th annual Len and Bob Bash for Cubs charities will be on January 14th at the House of Blues. We'll have more information coming up, presented by Bud Light. The Baseball Project, one of the acts, featuring Peter Buck, lead guitar player for REM. He plays bass in the band. All the songs are about baseball. Steve Wynn, Scott McCoy, Linda Pittman. Great supergroup. Maybe they'll write a song about you.
I'm not going to hold my breath, but it would be very flattering.
Catcher from Coshocton would be a good name. Two-one. Bounce to third. Ramirez up with it. Baker the turn, the bounce throw as he got toppled over by Hester, and they do get the double play. 5-4-3.
It appeared to be a pretty routine double play. Ramirez got the ball quickly off the bat of the opposing pitcher, got the ball to Baker in pretty good shape, and Long one hopper that time to Jake Fox. As a first baseman, you don't mind that one. That ball bounced a good 12 or 15 feet out in front, came right up mid-thigh level, easy double play.
Roberts with a little floater, and it'll fall over Jake Fox. Baker goes out to play it. Roberts has his second hit. It's a single. Right off the end of the bat as he cued it into right.
Just good placement. Certainly wasn't hit very well. The ball wasn't in the air very long, but just high enough to get over the head of Jake Fox and close enough to the line that Jeff Baker couldn't get there in time.
The man with the tattoos is on. I believe he's got a bunch on his arms, which are covered by the long sleeve undershirt. I don't even want to know how long it took him to get the one on his neck.
I'm wondering, if you were a pitcher, what if you got like 3 baseballs tattooed on the inside of your throwing arm?
Well, I believe Justin Miller, a right-hander, was told to wear long sleeves because of all the tattoos on his arms. So that issue has been covered.
Well, then never mind.
Had to back up and make the catch for the out leadoff homer by Burns. That stretches their lead to 8-0. Today's Honda Accord game summary heavily tilted in the favor of the Arizona Diamondbacks as they had 3 in the first, 4 in the third, 1 more in the sixth. They chased Tom Gorzolani out early. Visit your Honda dealer and test drive a 2009 Honda Accord. Jake Fox will start the bottom of the sixth. And a check down at first, and he went too far, says Ed Rapiwano. You know, Ron Santos singing the stretch today. I'm sure he would not be opposed to you doing a little harmony with him over in the radio booth.
I think we both sing the same part, though. That's the problem. You know, Ron and I rehearse an awful lot to sing that 7th inning stretch, and it might be hard to sing a different part.
Ron Santo Pizzeria.
What's that phone number? Did they deliver?
Joe Girardi's favorite. Talks about that all the time. Every time Joe returns to Wrigley, called strike 3. Sent Fox back to the bench. Patton is up with a different look. He has hand bottoms all the way down. Normally he had him right below the knees. David likes his clothes big. You see some of his dress shirts?
Yes, I have.
They're huge. Thinks he's going through a growth spurt. Reynolds gets Baker. Bobby Scales with 2 outs.
Ever so slightly starting to rain again here at Wrigley Field. Some of the fans heading for cover up underneath the concourse.
We got a lot of letters again in 2009, and we appreciate them very much. I'll try to mention as many as we can before the season ends. Pamela Bachholt from Oak Lawn, Illinois, sent us a nice letter.
David Hasbach from Palatine sent us a real nice one this morning, as a matter of fact. Well, he probably sent it a couple days ago, but we got it this morning.
My favorite of the year is it starts to rain. Two and two. Charlotte Zwiner or Zwiener from Iowa City, Iowa. Not only sent us a letter, apparently we're her favorites. She sent us a first place ribbon. She watches a lot of different baseball broadcasts and mentioned many of them that she likes, but we have a first place ribbon.
Very nice.
To left, Burns is over, and he has it. That'll end the inning. Cubs go down quietly. They trail 8-0. Bud Light Fan Cam, today chosen by our scorebox operator Danielle Denning. Charles Wright, Watts 103rd Street Band.
You don't never need help from nobody else. All you got to do now, spread yourself. Whatever you do, do it good. Whatever you do, Lord, Lord.
Express yourself. Today's Bud Light Fan Cam with just the right taste that never fills you up. The difference is drinkability.
Lord, Lord.
David Patton, the third consecutive rookie right-hander for the Cubs. Umbrellas are out as it lightly rains. A roller to Andres Blanco, gloves and throws to Fox. You know, like Cubs are going to finish in second, but we're finishing in first.
At least in the eyes of one of our fans, yeah. Mary Moak is another one of our frequent pen pals, and we appreciate all the letters she sent to us over the course of the summer.
Curveball outside to Mark Reynolds. Happy birthday to Larry Miles from Hammond, Indiana. Cubs fan since 1969. He said, sorry, no computer, but he sent us a letter. That's okay. And was actually out here last night. His birthday present. I'm strapped in. Not Larry Miles. We're talking about that stuffed animal.
Hope somebody got Larry an umbrella for his birthday if he was out here last night.
We're trying to figure out. Now we know on the field Ed Rapuano is the crew chief. We're trying to figure out which guy is the crew chief in the front row. I'm thinking the guy with the pretzel. Taking a little break. We're doing the count. 2-2 pitch in on the hands. Well, you know, they have all these fantasy baseball leagues. This is fantasy umpiring.
It's definitely a fantasy if you can eat a pretzel during the game.
A knee buckler, but it was low. One of the fans is arguing with one of the umpires. It's ball 4.
I don't think our pseudo umpires have the authority to throw anybody out of the ball game for arguing balls and strikes from the stands, but you never know. Oh, man.
Trying to keep the fans entertained here with a home team down 8-0. One strike to Chris Young, a homer, a walk, a single. Tough year, but a good day for Young. Deep to left and a slip by Bobby Scales. Don't know if he would have caught it anyway, but as it is, it bounces off the warning track for a double, and Young is a triple away from the cycle. We'll probably get another at bat too.
And usually when a triple is the only thing lacking in a cycle, you take a look at the player and say, well, not much chance that guy's going to hit a triple, but not in the case of Chris Young. He can fly. Boy, just a screaming line drive right at Bobby Scales in left field, accelerated over his head, as you mentioned. A little bit of a slip as he initially tried to retreat to the warning track. I don't think he was going to be able to make a play on that ball anyway.
Ryle with 2 in scoring position already with 3 RBIs in the game. A chance here for a couple more. Popped into right. Fukudome back on it. This will get the runner in from third easily. His throw goes to second. as Reynolds scores a sac fly for Ryle. He came in with 5 RBIs on the year, has 4 today, and it's 9-zip. When a team is swinging as early as just about the entire Diamondbacks lineup is that something that staff-wide you have to look at how you throw that first pitch? Because a lot of guys just trying to get that first pitch in the strike zone.
I think absolutely it changes how you pitch, to the point where maybe you don't even try to throw a strike on the first pitch. Maybe you try to throw your 2-strike breaking ball instead, that slider just off the outside corner, hoping that the batter's going to go ahead and swing at it anyway. Instead of the first pitch fastball, maybe you throw a first pitch changeup, hoping to get easy contact and have the ball put into play right at one of your defenders. But your game plan has to change depending on what that other team is trying to do against you. And there's no question this Diamondbacks team is looking to hack at the first thing close to the strike zone.
Burns with a pop-up. Shallow center, Fuld running in, Baker out, nobody gets it. 10-0. Burns with his 3rd consecutive RBI hit.
Well, the other 2 base hits were struck considerably better than this one. Cued it right off the end of the bat once again. Didn't hit it that high in the air, and dunks it perfectly between Sam Fuld and Jeff Baker out there in shallow center field.
Added 2 more runs here in the 7th. Cubs can't hope for rain today. Gone at least 5 innings, making this one official. Chip Hale will send that one into the seats. Give it to a kid. There you go. A couple of Diamondback fans. Fukudome's over. Trying to find room, but it's right at the ledge. Still 1-2. Packers hat. It's just wrong. As long as he's rooting for the Cubs, it's all right. Fukudome went banging into the sidewall there, I think.
Looked like he hit his right knee, maybe his right foot. Hits that sidewall.
Two and two. We saw the Diamondback bullpen stretching earlier. I think it's just because it's cold today. They're all sitting down right now as Billy Buckner is working on a shutout. Scatter Fox with a nice grab. Here comes Ron Santo with a 7th inning stretch.
Conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game is Chicago Cubs legend Ron Santo.
All right, all you wonderful Cub fans, let me hear you. On 1, on 2, on 3. Take me out to the ball. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it. At the old ball game. Yeah, let's get some runs.
10 runs. Cubs pitching today, and at 4 of them have only thrown 110 pitches through 7 innings. It tells you how aggressive they've been. I mean, 110 is a lot through 7, but not if the other team has scored 10 runs. Clay Hill with his second hit. All the Cubs hits have been singles, and this is a kind of day with a wind blowing straight out of the southwest, double digits. 4 singles isn't going to cut it.
Nope. Well, give some credit to Buckner out on the mound. He's made the pitches when he's had to. He's kept the ball out of the middle of the plate for the most part and kept it down. Good sinker there for called strike 1.
Andres has been fantastic defensively.
He's hit some balls hard in this game today. Unfortunately, they've been pulled foul down the right field line. A couple in that Diamondbacks bullpen, a few more up into the stands.
Into center for a base hit. That one just feathered out into center field. Back-to-back hits. Second time in the game the Cubs have had 2 on.
Just a little floater right back up the middle of the field. Got jammed just a little bit, but muscles it out there to put a couple of guys on base for the pinch hitter, Micah Hoffbauer.
Micah swings and misses as Buckner pulled the string. David Patton charged with 2 runs in 1 inning. Hoffbauer 8 out of 39 with a homer and 9 RBIs as a pinch hitter. They're hitting right around 200 off the bench. Long look by Buckner. In his 0-2, breaking ball hit fair and picked up by, I believe, Clay Zavada, who interfered with it. He thought it was foul. It was fair. He's trying to protect the bullpen. Oops.
No place to hide. He dropped the ball and walked away like nobody noticed.
His fan base maybe slightly embarrassed.
Right over the bag. Right into the glove of the Diamondbacks relief pitcher.
Cubs break the shutout. It's a double for Hoffbauer.
Well, I'm sure they wanted to see him in action today, but that was probably not the what they had in mind.
Zavada is from Illinois, from Streator, Illinois, about halfway between here and Peoria. The Stash Army. Attended Illinois Valley Community College in Southern Illinois at Edwardsville. Pretty interesting story, which we can discuss if and when he gets in this weekend. Actually ran their property, the family's property, back in Streator, and returned to baseball last year. Big article in the New York Times about Zavada earlier this season. 1 ball, no strikes to Sam Foltz. Second and third, no outs as the Cubs are on the board for the first time. Now, if Sam's going to get his first career RBI before the season ends, I'd have to think this is the opportunity.
A ground ball anywhere but back to the mound or to Mark Reynolds at third base will score a run. Fly ball to the outfield will score a run. Come on, Sam.
Lou had joked earlier this week he was going to squeeze with Fold if needed. Get him that first RBI. Not when you're down 9. And he pops it up, and that's not going to do it. And as Blanco has to hold at third. Start to get to the point where you think maybe Sam presses a little bit in these spots.
A little overly aggressive, trying to get that first RBI. Took a bad swing at a bad pitch right there and just popped it harmlessly to the right side.
I remember we interviewed him in Los Angeles earlier this season. He had worked at one time. He interned for Stats. So he's pretty aware of the numbers, but he says he tries not to be aware of them as a baseball player. But he's pretty aware of the fact he hasn't driven in a run at this level.
The good news is he's probably saved at least a half a dozen, maybe as many as a dozen runs this year with his defensive play in the outfield, but they don't give you credit for RBIs for great defensive plays. They keep the other team off the board.
2-0 to Fukudome. Sure, the bullpen catcher for Arizona still probably the only happy guy that Clay Zavada went and got that ball. I mean, Zavada's just trying to protect his guys. He wasn't thinking about fair foul, just didn't want that guy to get hit right in the middle of the back. I have a feeling he will be asked about that after the game. Be the first relief pitcher in history who may not pitch in a game, but to be interviewed by the beat reporters after the game. Really only a one-word question for Clay Zavada today. Why?
Doing my job. Buckner maybe starting to show some signs of fatigue. His mechanics are coming apart just a little bit out there on the mound, up over the 100 pitch mark in this game now.
Go ahead.
I was going to say his high on the season is 104 pitches. That came a couple of starts ago against the Giants, and he threw 104 pitches in only 4 1/3 innings in that game.
You're right. He might be nearing the end. The bases are loaded for Ramos Ramirez. Jay Hinch heading out. And he's going to make the call. Right-hander Blaine Boyer will replace Billy Buckner, who was really good today, but the Cubs have the bases loaded. We'll be back in the 7th. First reliever out of their bullpen.
The numbers on the season for Blaine Boyer. He's been much better on the road this year. Has a 1.80 ERA. Has held opponents to a 2.22 average. When on the road, at home, however, the ERA stands at 6.21. Opponents hitting nearly 300.
Boyer also briefly a St. Louis Cardinal. And the Diamondbacks got him on waivers from St. Louis in June. He was traded from Atlanta to St. Louis, eventually designated for assignment, and acquired off waivers. Starter Buckner was born in Decatur, Georgia. Blaine Boyer born in Atlanta. Here we go. The pitch to Ramirez with the bases loaded. Breaking ball outside, ball one. A run in, Blanco at third, Hoffpower at second, Fukudome at first. The pitch caught the outside corner on a fastball. Were they heckling the umpire?
It sounded like
I think they were. That's not good. They're breaking bad on their brethren. Let Paul Nard have it.
Let's see the umpires get thrown out of the stadium by the home plate umpire.
3-1. The pitch, bouncer through the hole, and one is in, and that's it. They'll go station to station with his big deficit. Ramirez gets his 65th RBI as Blanco scores 10-2 now.
Well-placed grounder by Aramis Ramirez. Took that sinker and just bounded it through the left side of the infield, but Burns charged it hard to make sure the Cubs were only able to score one.
Still loaded up for Jake Fox. Might be the only fastball he sees in this at bat. Good sinker by Boyer. A lot of late tailing movement. Got another one, but that's low. Try to turn two. They get none. No, they get one. As Drew is able to pick up the ball and step on second, the Cubs do get their third run of the inning. So Fox with an RBI, his 44th. On a fielder's choice, but that could have ended the inning.
Well, he had a couple steps to the second baseman's left. He got the ball to Drew in good shape. In his haste to get across that bag and make the relay throw, he just dropped it. And just to be sure they had the force out, he picks it up and still beats Ramirez to the bag.
First and third for Baker. The pitch is low. Ed Rapiuano is coming over.
We just wanted to make sure that Boyer's okay with the footing out there on the mound. It stopped raining quite a while ago. It did rain rather hard for a few minutes, but Boyer digging around at the landing hole on that mound, and Rapiuano just wanted to make sure everything was okay.
Really cracked his bat as he got in on Baker, and Ryle comes in and makes a catch. The Cubs do get on the board, 3 runs on 4 hits. They strand 2 and they're down 10-3. Finally got on the board in the 7th. Hoffpauir remains in at first. Fox in at third, so Ramirez is out. Left-hander John Graybo does the pitching, and he'll face a pinch hitter, switch hitting catcher Luke Carlin. And with that pitch, it's a new career high for John Graybo, his 75th appearance. John had an uncharacteristically rough outing against his former team, the Pirates, on Wednesday night. 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs on 4 hits. Two and two on Carlin. Struck him out looking. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Roberts with his 5th at bat, 2 for 4 with a triple and a run. Fastball missing, ball 1. Former Blue Jay and Ranger, and he lifts it to deep left. Bobby Scales with plenty of room. Diamondbacks keep hacking away. It's worked for him well. They have scored 10 times.
It's one of those days you just need to pay a little attention down in that Cubs bullpen. If you watch what the Diamondbacks have done offensively today, first against Gorzelani, then Berg, then Stevens, then Patton. No surprises against John Graybo. They're going to hack at the first pitch close to that strike zone.
Steven Drew hit for the cycle last year against St. Louis, September 1st. Adrian Beltre with Seattle did it on the same day in a different game. Pretty rare. Randy Wells will get his final start tomorrow, trying to get his 12th win as he faces right-hander Daniel Cabrera. Right here on WGN at noon Central. We'll hear from Lou Piniella as well tomorrow. Cubs have had a winning season all 3 years under Lou, but this will be the first time they won't make the playoffs. Blanco out, fold in. It's going to drop in between them. For Drew's third hit. You know, those are good balls to hit today. We've seen a few drop, and with the wind blowing out, the outfielders are back, so there's a lot more space in front of them.
And on top of that, their first reaction when they see a ball in the air is to either freeze or maybe even go back a step before coming in on those little bloopers that have dropped with consistency today.
Justin Upton has been known to talk to his helmet when he's frustrated.
Does his helmet answer?
I'm not quite sure. The late Mark the Bird Fidrich used to talk to the ball, and Justin Upton just talked to the helmet. Players talk to their bats. Guy in Major League, right? Talk to the bat. Like in just the first one, not in the 7 sequels they've made since. Pedro Serrano. Kind of feels like Hawaii. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A scoreless 8 for Graybo. Bottom 8. Cubs trail by 7. This final series of the season, 10-3. Veteran left-hander Scott Schoenweiss will pitch here in the 8th. Just a horrible year off the field. Forget about baseball. His number's not good, but it's just been a terrible year off the field. His wife Gabrielle was found dead at their home in May back in Arizona. He was on the bereavement and the restricted list in the wake of that tragedy. And then later spent almost a month on the DL because of depression. Schoenweiss is raising their 4 children, 3 they had together and a daughter Gabrielle had before she married Scott. Trying to deal with all that. Not a big surprise his numbers have suffered this season. 2-0 on Bobby Scales, batting righty against the lefty Schoenweiss. 3-0. Aaron Heilman up for the Cubs. Boy, Hill, another switch hitter on deck. 2 bouncer to Stephen Drew. So Schoenweiss comes back after a 3-0 start. And gets Scales on the bounce out. It brings up Coy Hill, who has been toying with the new grip on his bat when he hits right-handed because of his right hand, which was badly damaged in that table saw accident a couple of off seasons ago. It's okay from the left side because he can put the right hand around the knob of the bat. Basically, he can't get a normal grip with the right hand, so he's had to kind of compensate for it. They've come up with a molded grip.
It's a company out of Seattle called My Grip, and it's a rubberized material that you place on the bat. You heat it up and then place it on the bat, and then grab a hold of the bat, and it will actually conform to the grip of your hand.
Diving stop by Stephen Drew, and plenty of time to get Hill.
Now for Coy, as you mentioned, the right-handed side is where he has some problems because that right hand is further up the handle of the bat where it's a lot thinner, and this new grip allows him to put it exactly where he needs it to be. It fits his hand perfectly. Previously, he just had to wrap layer after layer after layer of tape around the handle of his bat to try to get that right feel, but he's been real encouraged and real excited about that new grip on the bat.
He said it's the first time since the accident where he's felt like the grip from the right side has felt normal to him. We're back to the pre-accident days. Three straight switch hitters. Blanco with 2 outs. Big leg kick by Schoenweiss and a pop to right. Upton squeezes, and that's it. A 1-2-3 8th inning. Off to the 9th. All D-backs today. Today's AM PM players of the game. We're going with the Wrigley Field fans today. Weather conditions have been less than ideal, to say the least. And the Diamondbacks getting those early runs, but the Cub fans hanging in there, including our favorite umpires. Once again, our AM PM players of the game, the Wrigley Field fans. Too much good stuff. Mark Reynolds breaks his bat as he swings away at Aaron Heilman's first pitch of the ninth.
Now, when you think of what these Cub fans have gone through over the last 101 years here at Wrigley Field, it's very, very cold, occasionally snowy early in the season. You get a lot of the same kind of weather at the tail end of the season, extremely hot and humid in the middle of the summer. And they come out here and support their team better than any fans in baseball.
Mark Reynolds has not struck out today. I'm going to try to find out how many times this year he's had, a game like this. He started and played the whole way and has not struck out. Can't be too many with 215. It's a major league record. Broke his own record from last year. He is the only. He had 204 last year. He's the only player ever to strike out 200 times in a season, and he's done it twice.
Well, that's definitely the downside of Mark Reynolds' game. The upside is he generates a tremendous amount of bat speed. And that's resulted in 44 long balls this year.
He said it really bothered him last season to have to read about breaking the strikeout record. So this year he's decided to not fret about it. If you look at the Diamondbacks game notes, you will not see any mention of the new record. He's had 27 games this year in which he has not struck out. He's 2-2 here. And it's outside on a slider from Heilman. There he is, Clay Zavada, warming up for the ninth. Reynolds has also committed the most errors in baseball with 24. Last year he had 35 errors. The second player ever to lead the majors in strikeouts and errors. Royce Smalley of the Cubs did it back in 1950 with 51 errors and 114 strikeouts. Number 216 is Heilman. Strikes out Reynolds.
Well, he is susceptible to that high fastball. But you better have a little extra giddy up on it to get it past him, because if he gets the barrel of the bat on a high fastball, especially on a day like this at Wrigley with the wind blowing out, watch out.
Chris Young has 4 triples on the season. If he gets number 5 in this at bat, he'll have a cycle. As we referenced earlier, Stephen Drew did it in September of last season. Cubs haven't had one since Mark Grace did it in 1993. Good pitch. Slider to make it 1-1. Keep each other warm out in the bleachers. It's cold out in the bleachers today. Wind blowing right in their face. They're protected out in the scoreboard. Won't be a triple, but another hit, making him 4 for 4. Renzo Bundy down there telling him he should have just kept running. Troy Tulowitzki did against the Cubs We thought it should have been a double and an error, but the minute Troy Tulowitzki was safe at third, they had on the board Cycle, the big Jumbotron board. So the scoreboard people didn't even give the official scorer a chance to call it a double and an error.
Chris Young, another one of these young Diamondbacks hackers. He struck out 129 times himself in just over 400 at bats this year, but has gotten enough good pitches in the strike zone today to get 4 knocks. It's kind of interesting, Len, to watch the different organizations, as you know, and most of the fans know. I've seen a lot of minor league games over the last couple of years, and you can really see an organizational philosophy filtering all the way down through the minor leagues. You watch an Angels farm team. Their guys all take the same lead off first base. They all like to run the bases aggressively. They bunt, they hit and run. I would venture to guess if you looked at the Diamondbacks minor league system, they got a bunch of guys swinging for the fences down there because everybody they've called up over the last couple of years have been aggressive free swingers. You look at the Yankees farm system, I'm sure their guys are taught to work deep counts. The Red Sox the same way, take a lot of walks, concentrate more on base percentage than batting average, try to keep innings going for a long time, put a lot of pressure on the pitcher and the defense.
One strike to Burns, who has homered and driven in 3. Average from 213 has gone up to 222 with his afternoon. Let's see, Chris Young from 206 to 214. May sound like a small thing, and Chris Young probably wouldn't admit to thinking about this, but he started today at 206. Let's say he plays all 3 games and went 0 for 15. He could have finished the year at 197, 198. What the 4 for 4 today does is pretty much guarantee that he will not finish under 200. And it's one thing to finish at 298, 299 and just miss 300. But you don't want to finish under 200.
Ooh, no.
Nobody wants that.
Ninth inning of a 7-run game, a couple days removed from the final game of the season, and Coy Hill still throwing his body in front of pitches in the dirt. The only thing he knows.
A 3-2 count to Burns. Young on his way to second. Bang that one off the hockey helmet. Coy Hill.
He just shakes it off. Well, we talked about those goalie style masks over the course of the season. They've really improved the padding. Visibility is considerably better than with the old school mask. I'm starting to come around. I'll tell you, we've seen some foul balls in the last week here that have snuck up underneath the old school masks. And Giovanni Soto took one in the jaw. We saw Eli Whiteside from the Giants take one in the side of the neck, got around the old school mask. You're a little better protected from the chin down with those hockey style masks. Giovanni Soto wears the old school mask.
His teammates playing with his hair. Heilman trying to put away Burns. High and deep. And out for Eric Burns, his second homer of the day, 5 RBIs.
Once again, with that wind blowing out, anything you cast up into the air with anything on it at all has got a real good chance to get out of here. For Eric Burns, season high in everything today.
(12-3) Arizona. Bounced foul by Hester. It's a very young roster. Eric Burns. Oh, he feels like he's 40. Only 33. But actually, Eric Burns probably feels like he's 15. He's a bundle of energy. Missed again, 3-1. Heilman now has allowed 9 homers this season. Three and two, a full count with 2 outs in the ninth. Everybody fighting over the cell phone. Off power, backpedaling. He has it in foul territory. A 2-run homer by Burns will go to the bottom of the ninth. 12-3 Arizona. In attendance, they wanted to see Clay Zavada, a left-hander, pitch, and they've gotten their wish. He's again from Streator, Illinois, and returned to baseball in 08 after missing 2007 to deal with some real-life issues. His father, Clarence, died from a heart attack in December of 06. Clay then became responsible for running the family's 40-acre property in Streator. His mom, Linda, passed away when he was 3. And his brother was in the Navy, so that's why he had to run the property. Finished college in the spring of 08. So he honored his dad's wishes to get his business degree. His baseball comeback has been the subject of some articles, including one in the New York Times. So pretty neat comeback story for Clay Zavada. Inside Hoffpower 3-0. Now the mustache I cannot explain, but it's certainly unique. It's his trademark, and he's got a lot of fans. I'm sure that section there are a lot of fans and maybe some family members from his hometown.
Well, he got his major league career off to a roaring start. 19 consecutive games covering 18 innings without allowing an earned run. It's the 4th longest streak in Major League Baseball history among relievers, going all the way back to 1954. This is our first look at Zavada. He's reported to have a really good straight changeup.
Originally a 30th round pick of the Diamondbacks in 2006, but as we said, he eventually left baseball, returned to independent ball before re-signing with Arizona. Sky high off the bat of Hoffpower. It's Drew in shallow center for the first out. The producer of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is Mark Brady. Our director is Skip Ellison. Doug Stanton, our associate producer. The executive producer of WGN Sports, Bob Forwall. Also thanks to our technical director, Chris Kentner. Our stage manager in the booth, Paula Oscroba. Debbie Merrill back at WGN, our studio coordinator. Our great WGN crew here at the ballpark is So Taguchi, a pinch hitter, flies out, and the Cubs are down to their final chance. Taguchi batted for Fold. Brings up Fukudome. Cubs were playing pretty good baseball, but they're staring right now at their 3rd straight loss. And offensively, has just have not been able to get anything going. Hester overran it. Got a late start. The wind kept it out of the stands, and he just simply overran it.
You're right. He did get a late start. He assumed that ball was going to end up in the bleachers. It got up above the roof of the stadium here, and the wind really pushed it back toward the playing field.
Welcome to Wrigley Field, John Hester.
Indeed.
Lined and caught by Drew, and that's it. As Zavada works a 1-2-3 ninth after a 3-0 start against Micah Hoffpower. He got him to pop out, and then quickly got Taguchi and Fukudome. So the Diamondbacks win game 1 as they run away with this one 12-3. Chris Young with 4 hits. Eric Burns with 2 homers and 10 total bases.